Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the latest edition of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar, the chief content producer and writer of jakestake.com, a pop culture entertainment news website. Before we continue, as you're listening, please subscribe to the podcast and give me a 5-star review. I'm on Apple, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. It would mean whole lot to me. Now, speaking of Spotify, my next guest is a Spotify verified artist that began his career on MTV's Real World and a Challenge. Today, he has over 6.9 thousand Twitter followers and 32,000 Instagram followers, and he's also been featured on multiple times on Billboard magazine. So please help me welcome back, for the first time on the podcast and the second time back to the Jake's Take franchise, Davis Mallory.
Thank you for having me, Jake. Nice to see you again.
It is so good to see you again, my friend. So
the last time I saw you, yeah,
it was a lot. And it's a brand new world, and it's a whole new world now, my friend.
Yeah.
So it's been a year since we sat down, Davis, and for a conversation. So how have you grown as a recording artist and a songwriter since we last spoke?
Well, I feel like most people, a lot of the plans I'd made when I saw you last year didn't come to fruition or just got maybe pushed back by another year. So one of the great things about this year has been a lot of people have been trapped at home and have been making music. So I'm about to embark on a bunch of releases in this 2021 year that are people just have been working on my songs and, making music. So that's been a great use of time. I'll have a lot of releases, and I have 3 coming up in the next month. So that's something that I'm excited about. But how about you? How have you been using your time?
I've been recording podcasts constantly, trying to learn new skills and catch up with family.
Yeah. Nice.
All right. So after we spoke, the challenge featured your song Shirtless on one of the episodes of War of the Worlds #1. So what did it mean to you to have the show that you once competed on feature your music?
That was such an exciting moment to have one of my songs used on the show that I, grew my career from. And I just love the scene that they used it in. So it was really a great moment to watch on TV and to hear my music being used on MTV's Challenge. Really happy that they have, and hope they use more in the future. So.
Absolutely. I really hope, fingers crossed for future seasons.
Yeah.
All right, so what have been some of the challenges that you faced through the coronavirus pandemic, and how have you overcome those obstacles?
I'd hoped, and I was going to play a bunch of shows this summer that didn't happen. And, I think like most musicians, I had to sort of think about how to make money in a time when I used to make it performing, and so many of my performances were canceled. I have had a bunch of DJs contact me during this time asking me to write over their instrumentals, and they paid me, which was a nice way to make money in a different way than, live performance income. And I sold my house this summer, and I'd lived in Nashville for 7 years, and I bought a house in my first year of living here, and I'm actually about to buy and move into a second house in the next month. So that was just like a way to spend my time in a different way and just focus on other projects. And I did a lot of outdoorsy stuff, like because, buildings weren't accessible due to COVID. I would go to parks and waterfalls and fish and do outside stuff that I hadn't done in a long time. So I really savored being outdoors during this time. So,
awesome. Congratulations on the new house.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. So let's talk about some of the songs that you've previously released, including a lyric video and a music video of Jane Fonda. So can you share the song's origin story with my audience?
Yeah, I actually wrote Shirtless and Jane Fonda just one day apart from each other. I wrote both of them in Sweden. I was singing at Europride. I actually opened for Netta, the winner of Eurovision from Israel. And then I stayed in Sweden for 1 week and wrote music every day. I wrote 5 songs. And I've only released 2 of those songs to date, Shirtless being the first and Jane Fonda being the second. And Jane Fonda was written about, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and Jane Fonda was a famous, local celebrity to Atlanta for some time. Her husband, Ted Turner, started Turner Broadcasting and TNT, these TV stations in Atlanta. So she had a big name in my town, kind of like Nicole Kidman lives in Nashville right now. It was like Jane Fonda lived in Atlanta, And so when I was writing Shirtless and when I was writing Jane Fonda and these songs, I was writing songs that sort of were more autobiographical and personal. And I used to write songs that were more vague to try to reach the general audience of the world, but I had made a change to make things more autobiographical. So that's where Jane Fonda originated from. And I chose to release it this summer, and I made a music video for it. And it's kind of a combination music/lyric video, and released it in August with a remix by a London-based DJ named Macrolev. It's kind of a tech house dance mix. Just pushed the single out this summer. I haven't really released music since then as a result of just like, it felt kind of like purposeless to release music if you can't perform it live. And so I was trying to kind of hold out to release a bunch of my unreleased songs when I can actually be out like performing them again. So.
Awesome. I definitely, a lot of people would love to see you perform.
Thank you.
So one of the songs that you're going to be talking about that is potentially on this EP is an original song called Faith that you recorded with an American Idol alum, and then you have released it on November 20th. So how did this collaboration come about?
Yeah, so actually right at the start of this whole coronavirus pandemic, I had been scheduled to write a song with Madeline Fenn, who was an American Idol cast member. We have a friend in common who I actually met in Sweden on that trip that I mentioned. It's a Swedish boy-girl duo. They're husband and wife. Their group name is called 7,000 Apart because they dated long distance, like 7,000 kilometers apart from each other, from Sweden and America. And they said that they thought I should write with Madeline. And so Madeline and I scheduled our first and so far only songwriting session. And it was right at the start of coronavirus, and I was feeling kind of gloomy and what's the world coming to, and feeling kind of afraid and all these different feelings I think a lot of us have felt. And that's what we channeled into the song Faith when we wrote it. And it became a song that this summer was asked to do some virtual concerts, and I would sing it at each of them because it just felt like applicable to the time period that we were at, and it became something that I started to feel really passionate about wanting to do something bigger with. So during coronavirus pandemic, this whole year, it was just my passion project. And so I recorded it with Madeline singing second verse. And then I grabbed a group of my friends here in Nashville that are all artists and had them sing a gospel choir type outro on the song. And then I got it signed to a label based in Europe that's releasing it November 20th. They said they're going to give it a big push, so I hope that it performs well on Spotify and online. And it's just about to come out, and we'll see what happens. But it's been my 2020 project, and it's called Faith. So,
congratulations, Davis, on the project.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so you have another new single coming out December 18th, and you will premiere a song called Broken Dreams that was produced by European DJ, and I'm sorry if I get his name butchered, DJ Deb Dreams. So how is this song similar or different to your previous singles?
Yeah, so I actually met a guy at a church I was going to last year named Drew Schuler, and he's a pop artist here in Nashville. He's a really good artist. And we set up a songwriting session, and it's also our one and only session so far. We wrote this, I would say sometime last summer to end of last year, so like 2019 fall. And we wrote the song Broken Dreams. And it's a song about all the hard work you put into your career that goes unnoticed, and how, they say it takes thousands of hours and tons of doors being closed in your face, tons of no's before you get a yes. And it's about where do all these broken dreams go when you stop chasing them. It's kind of just a thought process. Like, what happens to all the dreams you have that you don't go after when you stop? And then a European DJ from the Ukraine, who I also have a hard time saying his name, but I think it's Dep Dramez. That's how I call it. He really liked it and made a great kind of remix production to it and got it signed to a label called Astralwerks Records. And it's coming out on the 18th of December. And I made a music video for it just last week here in Nashville. And I'm wearing like an American flag leather jacket to sort of symbolize the American dream and chasing your dreams and going after your dreams. And then the DJ made a video of himself in Ukraine, and we're going to combine the footage for the music video. So
that sounds incredible. So in addition to all your singles, you have an EP coming out by the end of the year, and it's called Little Victory. So how long have you and your production team been working on it? Oh, gosh.
Good question. So when I got back from Israel right after that trip to Sweden, so that trip to Sweden where I met Netta led me to Israel because she and her manager were asking me, have I been? And it had been very top of my list of places I wanted to visit. And the day I got back from Israel, I wrote Little Victory. And the lyrics to Little Victory start off with, woke up in the night to tell you that I bought a flight to Tel Aviv to see you. Never been as happy as I am when you're next to me. And that song was about my ex-boyfriend at the time, who I'm still very close friends with. Elhai is his name, and we were long distance dating. So Little Victory became sort of my favorite single, and I wasn't sure what to do with it. I made a music video for it last winter, and I thought I would put it out sometime this year. And then a DJ from Amsterdam named Retrovision that was on DJ Magazine's Top 100 list in 2019 remixed the song and is actually releasing a version of it on the 4th of December, signed to Hexagon, which is Don Diablo's record label. And that will precede my EP, which is of the same name, A Little Victory. I wanted Little Victory to be just like 5 or 6 good songs. I'm going to include Faith on it as like an outro song. And then Little Victory. And then the other songs I've chosen are just like songs that have been written over the last 1 to 2 years that are similar. Some of them feature my friends' voices on them. So it was nice to sort of include artists here in Nashville that I'm in real life friends with. And it's all sort of like happy, euphoric pop songs.
All right. I got to say, I want guys, just to let you be honest, that Davis did send me the EP, and it's really great. And I want to talk to you about a couple of songs because I know you just touched on the title track, but I got to say, Atlanta's a really good one.
Thank you. Yeah, that one actually was written by the same person Jane Fonda was written with. So his name is Johannes Willander, and I had written it, Jane Fonda with him that week I was in Sweden. And I went back to Sweden about 6 months later, and I asked him if he could write with me a second song, and our second time was Atlanta. And again, it's autobiographical in nature. It talks about leaving Atlanta, going to New York City, returning to Nashville, and then kind of having a longing for my hometown of Atlanta. And like, it's just like a song about a journey I've gone through. And I think what I'll do is I'll start the album off, or the EP off, with that song, as it's very autobiographical. So
awesome. My favorite one on there is Can You Tell Me?
I made a video for that song yesterday.
Oh, nice. That's so cool.
Yeah. That one I wrote in Berlin last summer. I was actually going through a breakup when I wrote that song. And I say a breakup, I was ghosted. So it wasn't it wasn't a serious relationship. But it was about being ghosted. And the lyrics are like, can you tell me where all the love goes when you're not here? Because like in person, everything was great. And then when we were gone, it was just like, what happened? Why am I being ghosted? It was such a 180. And that's how the song got written.
Awesome. Now, Davis, who are some of your dream collaborators, singers, songwriters, and producers, and how would they enhance your sound?
I mean, producers, I still say, like, I love to work with Mark Ronson. I actually just discovered an artist this week by the name of Lucky Day, Daye. And he had a track called Paint It that I got obsessed with. I played it so many times. And I ended up trying to figure out who produced it because the production was so good. And found him on Instagram and contacted him. His name is, he goes by D-Mile, or Dernst E-Mile is his personal name. But that sound is really nice. But yeah, Mark Ronson's in the same kind of sound as this producer sounds, like kind of like that, uptown funk sound of music. Like I love funky pop productions, and I'll probably say this in every interview until I die, but Calvin Harris or David Guetta, people like that are like big goals of mine. Just like big DJs that, feature voices is always Max Martin.
Max Martin would be incredible.
Yeah. So I really like Taylor Swift's new album. I thought the producers on that one were really good. I got obsessed with that album.
Folklore blew me away.
It was a slow burner for me. At first, I didn't know what to think of it, and then I got obsessed and couldn't stop listening.
Totally agree. So now let's talk about social media, because we have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Have you thought about TikTok? Have you done YouTube? I know you've done YouTube, but have you thought about other platforms?
I've done a few TikToks. They've just been sort of commercials for my music in a sense. Like, I haven't really done the whole, hop on a TikTok fad and jump at it, the one where people have like the line that goes across their face and then they move their face around, or I haven't really started like copying the fads yet, or people learning dances and doing the dances. Maybe someday I will, but at this point in my life it just doesn't interest me to do these things. I guess I need to.
I totally agree. I can't do TikTok.
Yeah.
I cannot do TikTok. It's not, I can't even imagine, because thing is with me.
Sorry, keep going.
Because the thing is, I would have to just report on stories. I can't do like any dances or something like that.
Have you ever seen Mad TV?
Oh yeah, I have.
And you know the character Stuart?
A little bit.
He's this character, and he's like an adult man, and his mom's in the scenes with him all the time, and he's always like, "Look what I can do! Look what I can do!" Which is like what little kids do to their, get the attention of their parents. But he's just ridiculous the way he does it, and then that's what I feel like TikToks kind of are, is people that are just like, look what I can do, look what I can do, like as adults.
I totally agree. But however, there are people like Charli D'Amelio and her sister that are miles above everybody else.
I need to check these people out. I don't know them. Who are they?
Charli D'Amelio and her sister Dixie. They're probably two of TikTok's top 2 stars.
Okay. I will look them up. Again, I don't even really spend much time on TikTok, so didn't know who they were.
Alrighty, so we got to start wrapping up the interview. So what can my audience expect on Little Victory, and why should they check it
out? On my social media?
Little Victory, the EP, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, I still haven't chosen an exact date, but I'm predicting it'll be the last week of December, like before or right around Christmas. I have a song on there called Heavy that features a rapper here in Nashville named Daisha McBride and a singer here in Nashville named Blake Leader. And they both are just kind of underknown but super talented artists. I wanted more like Nashville representation on my project. And I have a song with one of my close girlfriends in Nashville named Luma. She's a pop EDM artist who's had some major success on Spotify with Arm & Hammer, and a bunch of DJs have used her voice. I think she had one come out today with Zach Martino. And anyways, like in the EDM world, she's had a lot of success, and I have a song with her on the record. And then the one I told you about with Madeline Finn called Faith. So it's just a record of like my friends being on my album, which was important to me. And I am preparing for an actual album in the 2021 year, which will include a few of these songs and a bunch that are not on it. It's going to be more conceptual than this. This is more of like Little Victory kind of summarizes what I think of as an EP. It's 5 songs. So I called it the Little Victory EP. Whereas my album next year, I'll tell you I'm going to call it Back to the 80s. And it's going to have an 80s sound to it. So everything on it is going to be very kind of like cohesive in sound.
Everything.
Yeah. And a few of the songs like Jane Fonda, I expect I'll put on it, and Shirtless I'll put on it because they have kind of an 80s production. But a bunch of songs that are on the EP may not make the album just because the production is not really 80s synth pop. And there's a song called Back to the 80s I'm going to make a music video for in the next 3 months or so. And we're going to take like epic movies from the 80s and recreate some famous scenes from each of those movies to make a video. So that's the plan in works.
Awesome. So Davis, where can my audience find your music and connect with you on social media?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on all platforms at Davis Mallory, Mallory.
Awesome. Now, guys, for more information about the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar podcast, or to listen to more episodes, head to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Spreaker. Just type in Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar, JACOB Elyachar. This is our 1-year anniversary, and we've had a huge year so far. We've got America's Got Talent champion Brandon Leak. We've had Christina Ray show up. We've had Sons of Serenip come on the podcast. Not to mention Prince Poppycock, Anna Graceman, Father Dude from Songland. Plus, we got a couple of Ninja Warriors and Big Brother legends like Rachel Riley and Survivor icon Ethan Zahn, and also some people from The Challenge, including Pauly Calafiore, Joss Mooney, and Bailey and Swaggy C. So that's all. You can catch up all those episodes on those channels. Also, are you on social media? Because I'm on social media too. Head to Jake's to Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram for Jacob Elyachar, JACOB Elyachar. Once again, Jacob Elyachar, JACOB Elyachar. And also, guys, you can check out my reviews of Davis' music and our original interview on jakes-take.com. Once again, it's jakes-take.com. Davis, I am so happy that you came back onto the podcast. You are one of my favorite people. I enjoyed talking to you, and I cannot wait to hear all your new music.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you too. It's always good to see your smiley face and to hear your voice and to talk to you again. So thanks for having me on.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.